many frowns can change the brightest disposition, as sure as clouds can darken the dawn. Yet every joy in life has been our one ambition, and that's how we intend to go on. Merrily we roll along, my honey and me. Verily there's no one half as happy as we. Though we're twice as poor as mice, say what do we care? For we've been so wealthy in the love that we share. Merrily we dance along while facing the sun. Merrily our slogan is, say don't we have fun? We live in style with a smile and a song as we merrily roll along.
Settle down now. Yeah, settle down. Welcome back, folks, to Secrets of Sattery, the only show this side of the ocular nerve designed to transmit directly into your brain in order to bring you a whole slew of clues, tips, tricks, and tools for navigating whatever spirit or mental world you currently find yourself in, or will find yourself in.
Wait, what?
Alrighty, let's see.
Sorry? You talking to me?
I think I've decided. Tonight's discussion is going to be about a funerary practice known as Excarnation. Have you ever heard of it?
Hey, what? I still don't even know what your name is. Where are we right now? I remember talking to my mule Cinnamon and then falling asleep and... Wait, is this a dream? Am I dreaming? Am I asleep? Can I not be asleep anymore, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of forgot I didn't tell you about, anything, I guess. Is this a dream? Yeah, kind of. And I have a lot of names, but you can call me Sattery. It means, well, something that's very funny to me, but it might not mean a whole lot to you at the moment. So, just call me Sattery.
Sattery. Sattery? Sattery.
Yeah, that's it. Why not? Sattery, charged like a battery.
What's a battery?
My fault. I brought it up, but yeah, I'm not going to tell you that right now. Now you're falling over.
I give up. Yeah. I can't answer one stinking question. Where am I right now? Come on,
all right, buddy. We got to keep this moving. I guess we're technically on an endless schedule, but yeah, I don't want to be here forever.
Okay, fair enough. I'm sorry. Wait. Sorry. It's a knee-jerk response of mine that I've been trying to overcome lately. It's not fair enough. You don't say battery and then not explain what that is. They're so infuriating.
Why, hello, bud.
Oh, so it's Sattery, right?
Yep. Sattery.
All right, well, what is Excarnation, then?
Well, I never thought you'd ask. It's also known as defleshing, if that makes it more titillating.
Not particularly. It kind of makes it more gross. Yeah, generally. It's a weird word.
Hey, that's fair enough. The burial practice known as Excarnation refers to the defleshing of skin and other organs from the bodies of the dead.
Ew.
This includes defleshing with tools, such as edged or bladed implements. The earliest archaeological evidence of this sort of defleshing is from the Awash River Valley in Ethiopia, where 160,000 years ago it might have been practiced by a close relative of Homo sapiens, known as Herto Man, or Homo sapiens adulto. Using a variety of obsidian blades, fine-grained basalt tools, or other cryptocrystalline rock scrapers. However, the predominant type of excarnation we're talking about tonight is achieved through more hands-off, natural processes. Mainly necrophagic scavenger animals.
Ugh.
Like wild dogs. and carrion birds, like vultures. The sun, the wind, time, all nibble away at the dead body until just the skeleton and bones remain.
Ugh.
Hey, don't be disrespectful, please. It was and still is done for practical or spiritual reasons, often in accordance with the deceased's desire to simply give themselves as something of a final offering to the world or to their god. So yeah, it can be gross and kind of depressing, I know. That is death and bodies in a nutshell. Gross and depressing, but important. Too important to forget, to continue to not understand. There are a few different flavors of Excarnation. The first, and perhaps simplest, is the sky burial. A human corpse is left outside, exposed, lying on the ground or on a litter, at the top of a mountain or a hill. The next is tree burial. It is similar to sky burial, except the human corpse is placed up high in a tree or on a platform built for the purpose. This was often to keep potential scavengers, like wolves, away from the body, to give the deceased loved ones some time to speak with it or otherwise mourn. One of my personal favorite examples of unique excarnation practices that relate to both sky burial and tree burial come from the stories of the pacifist Moriori people, the native Polynesian people of the Chatham Islands, New Zealand, who were said to place some of their dead on the beach, amongst the sand dunes, in an upright sitting position, oriented to look as if they were gazing out to sea. Others of their dead they would strap to or between young trees. Over time, the steadily decomposing corpse would feed the growing tree, and their forms would intertwine. Becoming one. The last notable example of excarnation we're going to talk about tonight is the Dakma, or Tower of Silence.
Ooh.
Of the Mazda Yasna faith, which is known better to the Western world as Zoroastrianism, an ancient religion that originated in Persia, in the area now known as Iran. The founder of Mazda Yasna, Zarathustra, was known as Zoroaster in Greece. Funny how names and time work like that. Nothing changes, but nothing ever stays the same. After performing Satgid, in which, of course, a four-eyed dog glances over the body of the deceased as part of a Zoroastrian funeral ceremony, in order to determine if the deceased truly is, well, deceased. Their body is then brought to the top of the Tower of Silence and placed into one of many stone beds built into the floor of the roof, usually in 2 or 3 concentric rings, which get lower as they near the central ossuary pit. Whether the body is an adult male, an adult female, or a child might indicate which ring of stone beds they belong to. Outermost for males, then females, and then children on the innermost ring. Whatever gender or age, all bodies become food for the birds, barkers, and bacteria eventually, leaving behind only bones, which then fall down into the central ossuary pit, where the sun, rain, and time dissolve the bones, which slowly and safely filter down and out toward the sea. From the Avestan Vendidad, Fargard 7, Purity Laws, Section 8. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, how long after the corpse of a dead man has been laid down on the ground, clothed with the light of heaven and beholding the sun,
is the ground clean again? Our master answered, when the corpse of a dead man has lain on the ground for a year, clothed with the light of heaven and beholding the sun, then the ground is clean again, Zarathustra. O maker of the material world, thou holy one, how long after the corpse of a dead man has been buried in the earth clean again? Our master answered, when the corpse of a dead man has lain buried in the earth for 50 years, Zarathustra, then the earth is clean again. O maker of the material world, thou holy one, how long after the corpse of a dead man has been laid down on a dakma, is the ground whereon the dakma stands clean again? Our master answered, not until the dust of the corpse has mingled with the dust of the earth. Urge everyone in the material world, Zarathustra, to pull down dakmas every 50 years. He who should pull down dakmas, even so much thereof as the size of his own body, his sins in thought, word, and deed are remitted as they would be by a pated. His sins in thought, word, and deed are undone. Not for his soul shall the two spirits wage war with one another, and when he enters paradise, the stars, the moon, and the sun shall rejoice in him. And I, Aramasta, shall rejoice in him, saying, Hail, O man, thou who hast just passed from the decaying world into the undecaying one.
Sweet. What is it from? Like a book? Is it from like a book or something?
The Vendidad is more of a collection of Zoroastrian lists and guides for things like keeping yourself in the environment clean and clear of Nasu, or sort of like a spiritual pollution or rot. Hence their practice of Excarnation and building of towers of silence. There are rites, prayers, there's a bunch of stuff in there about how super cool dogs are, and some stuff about the Chinvat Bridge, which is where the soul goes after death to be judged. A liminal space, or an in-between place. A lot like the lands between, actually. That's what this landmass is called, right?
I think it is. I don't really know much. I'll be honest. Most of my days I spent just kind of watching the sun for like hours. And most of my nights I end up staring at this fire until I fall asleep. And lately I've been thinking my brain memories and stuff might be somewhat compromised.
By your tone there at the end, are you asking if staring directly at the sun for hours might be bad for you? Because the answer is absolutely yes. Definitively. Stop doing that immediately.
Yeah, but I kind of like it though. It makes me feel all woobly and my music kind of flows better.
No, do not look at the sun. There's no reason to. Why would you? I still can't believe I need to say this to you. What are we talking about? I wanted to talk a little bit more about something else to do with Zoroastrianism before tonight's stream ends. We could go over the concept of a Fravashi, which is the personal spirit of a being, which exists whether that being is alive, dead, or not yet born. The Fravashi projects an Irvan, or soul, into the physical material world, kind of like an avatar in a video game, in order to fight the good fight that is constantly waging there between the two spirits. Spenta Mainyu, the creative mind, the holistic and positive force, and Angra Mainyu, the chaotic mind, the destructive and negative force. And how Fravashi are tasked with protecting the empyrean, or sacred fire, in order to keep darkness and Angra Mainyu imprisoned in the material world. A shadow is only cast when there is a light to cast it. It's all a lot, though. Kind of hard for me to wrap my head around for long enough to explain it better, so maybe I'll just mention the traditional Judges of the Dead on the Chinvat Bridge real fast, because they're interesting. And then I'll end things with another reading from the Vendidad that I find to be apropos and also kind of pretty. There are 3 guardians of the Chinvat Bridge. Srausha, Mitra, and Rashnu, who I don't know a whole lot about, so I'll just say up top here that Rashnu is the Yazata, or divinity, of justice and possibly order. The first guardian, Srausha, is the Yazata of conscience and observance, who represents spiritual devotion and discipline. Srausha is the nemesis of Aishma, the Deva of Wrath. If you should pass their trials, Srausha will accompany the soul to the end of the Chinvat Bridge, possibly sharing duties in this with Daena, who represents insight and revelation. Or, translated more literally from the original Avestan, that which is seen or observed. The second guardian, Mitra, of wide pastures, is the Yazata of covenants, oaths, and contracts. Mitra is also associated a lot with the sun and with being a guardian of cattle in the waters. Interestingly, there was a Roman cult called the Mithraic Mysteries centered around a divinity named Mithras, who was supposedly based on the Iranian Mitra. Although it might have been as simple as the Romans wanting an exotic name for their sun god to base their cult around rather than there being much like real similarity between the two deities. I think there's some crossover in there with another sun deity named Sol, too, and Saturn. And then they adapted one of their birthdays, the winter solstice, into Jesus' birthday. But Jesus actually would have been more likely born in September. It's funny, though, the Roman Mithras was often depicted wearing a Phrygian cap or liberty cap, which was notably first seen in areas around ancient Persia. And it kind of looks like your big Christmassy Santa Claus hat. What is that? Hey. Remember to blink,
Sorry?
bud. And also, don't just stare at the fire like that. This is really basic stuff. From the Avestan Vendidad, Fargard 19, Section 5. Zarathustra asked,
O maker of the material world, thou Holy One, where are the rewards given? Whereto do men come to take the reward that, during their life in the material world, they have won for their souls?
Ahura Mazda answered, When the man is dead, when his time is over, then the wicked, evil-doing devas cut off his eyesight. On the third night, when the dawn appears and brightens up, when Mitra, the god with beautiful weapons, reaches the all-happy mountains, and the sun is rising, then the fiend named Vizarisha carries off in bonds the souls of the wicked. The soul enters the way made by time, open both to the wicked and to the righteous. At the head of the Chinvat Bridge, the holy bridge made by Mazda, they ask for their spirits and souls the reward for the worldly goods which they gave away in the here below. Then, on the fourth day, comes the beautiful, well-shapen, strong, and well-formed Maid, with the dogs at her sides, one who can distinguish, who has many children, happy and of high understanding. She makes the soul of the righteous one go up above the Har Barzati, the holy mountain. Above the Chinvat Bridge she places it, in the presence of the heavenly gods themselves. Up rises Vohumana, the good mind, from his holy seat. Vohumana exclaims, How hast thou come to us, thou holy one, from that decaying world into this undecaying one? Gladly do the souls of the righteous pass to the golden seat of Ahura Mazda, to the golden seat of the Ameshaspentas, or immortal emanations. To the house of song, the abode of Ahura Mazda, the abode of the Ameshaspentas, the abode of all the other holy beings.
Thank you for guiding me here. the one who walks alongside flame shall one day meet the road of destined death. Goodbye.
As to the godly man that has been cleansed, the wicked evil-doing devas tremble at the perfume of his soul after death, as doth a sheep on which a wolf is pouncing.